It was reported in the 2017 fiscal year that approximately 310,531 apprehensions nationwide. And that's the lowest number it's been since 1971, and this number has steadily decreased since Trump has come into office. And there are a number of reasons as to why immigrants travel to the United States. Some of which include reuniting with friends and family that they haven't seen for years, and they just want to reunite. There's many more job opportunities here, better jobs, better opportunity, better pay. There's also better education here. The education systems here are so much better than there are in third world countries or countries that are just struggling, as well as they're trying to get away from the corrupt government in their home country. And there are a number of reasons as to why this wall is just not an effective way of spending American dollars. It's not going to be efficient in the long run, and it is just truly unjust for the American citizens who want to reunite with their families, as well as prospective citizens. And it's just ethically and morally incorrect to build this wall. One of the reasons is it costs just simply way too much money. There's been reports from Trump going from $12 billion, and then sources like Washington Post to $70 billion. And the most common number, middle ground, I guess, would be $30 billion. Now, with that $30 billion, you have to understand that this may be an extreme underestimate. You have to take into account that along the southern border, there are valleys, rivers, national park, mountains, and they're all locations that are not easily and readily accessible. So it's either we have to fund ways to get to these construction sites, or you have to fund having construction workers living on the construction site. You also have to take into account how much material it will use. You're using about 50 billion pounds of steel and 12.6 billion cubic metric yards of concrete. And there are a plethora of other ways that immigrants can come in through the United States. And the most common way is overstaying the visa. So many people come through the Canadian border, get a visa, and just simply overstay. Approximately 4 million immigrants overstayed their visa. So, I mean, the Canadian border is more of a threat than the Mexican border in regards to illegal immigration. Immigrants can also come through on boats. You're just blocking one border, and you have to take into account that there's so many other ports of entry to the United States. We also have found, the U.S. Border Control has found over 200 underground tunnels, so linking Mexican cities to the United States, many of which had been included with electricity, ventilation. So these are very well thought out tunnels. And yes, they've been found, but there will be more if the wall is actually built. You also have to take into account the coyotes. So that's the illegal transaction of U.S. citizens employing immigrants, like Mexican immigrants, for work. So that's a $600 billion a year industry, and that's surely not going anywhere. We also already have extensive border security and surveillance down in the Mexican border, including a $2.3 billion 654-mile fence. That's 1 year it took to build it and to upkeep it. So take into account how much money it will cost to upkeep a 2,000-mile wall built of concrete and steel. We also have motion sensors and video cameras. Border Control has reported that this is the lowest illegal immigration has been, and they've been really buckling down. So if we just keep up what we're doing, it will eventually go away. the government also cannot come to a clear consensus on the wall. So the government's been shut down since December 22nd, 2018. We brought this into the new year. And the Democratic Party, most of them believe that this wall isn't a symbol or isn't a mechanism to keep illegal immigrants out. It's more of a symbol of racism, which is completely understandable. And they do support funding more physical barriers down on the southern border. The illegal immigration is a serious crisis, and in no way, shape, or form is it okay to come here illegally, but in no way, shape, or form is it okay to just build a wall and think everything's going to be okay. So I feel like we need to come together collectively and make a decision that is just for the American people as well as prospective citizens.